Hi, writers. Welcome to another day of realistic fiction writing. I hope you're ready to saddle up because today we are going to be revising some of the books that we've already written. Yesterday, you learned how to add character dialogue and quotation marks into your writing so that you can really bring your stories to life. So today, I want you to take a minute to pause to kind of reflect and revise what you have already written. Let's think about how to write a realistic fiction book because we have accomplished so many things so far. We have learned how to think of a pretend character. We've learned to imagine adventures, thinking of the problem and even a solution. We have already planned by touching and telling our story and sketching the pictures. And in the past few days, we've been writing up a storm. So the next phase in writing a realistic fiction book is, you guessed it, to revise. When you revise, you ask yourself, how can I make this even better? What can I add to my story? How can I stretch this out? Writers, today you're going to saddle up for a revision party and be rereading all of the books you've written so far to see how you can make your writing even better than it already is. This may sound familiar because a few weeks ago, we saddled up for our revision party by revising our first realistic fiction book. Let's think about some of the things we already know how to do. Oh my goodness, look at all of these things. We are serious series writers. Realistic fiction writers can try so many different strategies, such as creating a pretend character, using sequence words like then and next, add talking like character dialogue, showing feelings in the story, really slowing it down and telling the small actions. You've learned how to stretch out the problem across pages. You've learned how to look at mentor texts like Henry and Mudge to help you with your writing. And you've even learned how to get the character in trouble. You have learned so many different things in our lessons. So I know this can seem like a lot, but I want you to try and focus on just one part that you can make better today. Let me help you out a little bit by showing you my own writing. When we revise, we can use this revising checklist. The first thing we need to do with our books is reread so that we can refresh our memory for what we've already worked on. Then we ask ourselves, how can I make my writing even better? This is a checklist that you can use and should look familiar from the first time that we revised. I wrote about a time my character did something. I tried to make a beginning for my story. I put my pages in order and used some transition words. I found a way to satisfy my reader with a good ending. I wrote my story across 3 or more pages. I put the picture from my mind onto the page and I added details in the pictures and words. I used labels and words to give details. Again, we're going to focus on language conventions or spelling tomorrow when we get into editing. So first, let me go back and reread what I already have from my book. Listen close. Chirp, chirp, sang the birds. Kit opened her eyes. The sun was shining in her window. It was a beautiful spring day. Kit got up and ran downstairs for breakfast. Good morning, Kit. Would you like some pancakes for breakfast? Asked Kit's mom. Pancakes were Kit's favorite. That sounds yummy. Thanks, Mom, said Kit as her tummy growled. Can we plant flowers today, Mom? It's a nice day outside. Kit's mom agreed, so they got all of the planting supplies. After, Kit and her mom headed outside. I will work on this side of the garden, Kit told her mom. They got to work by digging a small hole in the dirt to place each tulip plant inside. It looks beautiful already, said Kit's mom. I like the pattern you're making with the tulip colors, replied Kit. Meanwhile, a fuzzy brown bunny was admiring the flower garden too. Okay, writers, I'm going to stop here for a second and think. Am I satisfied with how my book sounds so far? Well, I have some dialogue. I'm balancing it with the character actions. I haven't gotten to the problem yet, so that's something I need to start thinking about. And I've used punctuation the right way. I have uppercase letters. Okay, I feel pretty good so far, so I'm going to keep going. Here's the next page of my writing that I added on. Kit and her mom started to feel hungry from all of their hard work. They went inside for lunch. Okay, now, do I feel satisfied with how my page sounds here? Well, when I think about my other pages, it looks like there were a lot of sentences and words on pages 2 and 3. It seems like page 4 only has a couple lines. So, writers, what do you think I can do to make my writing better? Think about it for a moment. If you are thinking I should add more lines and more details to this page, then I agree with you. I do need some more details here. So watch and learn how I kind of create a goal so that I can add more details to my words. I like to call this a more goal. A more goal is when you think about where you want to write to and set a small goal for yourself. So since my sentence ends here, I think I want to write 3 more lines today to revise my book and add more details on this page. I'm going to draw a little dot on this line to tell me and remind myself that this is where I'm going to write to today and add more to. All right, let's fast forward a little bit. I did some work. Let me reread now. See how I set a more goal to show that this is where I wanted to write more to today. Kit and her mom started to feel hungry from all of their hard work. They went inside for lunch. Are you ready for lunch, Kit? Asked Mom. Sure, replied Kit. Mom made Kit's favorite. When Kit sat down at the table to eat, she felt so happy to see PB&J on her plate. All right, writers, so today to revise my book, I decided that I needed to add more details to my story. I added more details by balancing it with some dialogue and some actions to stretch out my story and tell it part by part. I wonder what's going to happen next in the story. All right, writers, let's make some decisions about what you're going to work on today to revise your book and go back. You may notice that I did some writing in a different pen because that's showing me that I can go back into my writing and it tells me some progress that I made for myself. You can choose to do the same if that's something that will help you. Okay, go make a choice in your mind and use our revising checklist to help guide your thinking. Off you go, writers. Have a great day.